I'm Rana Al-Falaki.
I'm Bav,
and welcome to
the Nail It podcast.
This is your place to lead better, live fully and laugh more. It's your blueprint to optimal performance. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Nail It podcast, your place to lead better,
live fully,
and
laugh more.
Love more. How are you today, Bav? You laugh. You can't talk.
How's your week been, Rana?
I am on fire. I've had an incredibly challenging day. I'm not going to say day. Immediately reframe mentally. New computer systems in the practice that literally went live yesterday. I just literally come back from holiday, bombarded by a ton of stuff to catch up with. A brand new nurse who is an incredible nurse, but was understandably potentially feeling a bit overwhelmed because she wanted to make a good impression on me. And I had zero lunch break because I had notes to write up, and we ran late with the computer system. And then I had lots of surgery to do this afternoon, and eventually got out of work. But look, it's the evening, and look at me, I'm on fire.
Wow, that just shows the amount of resilience you have.
That just shows me how I nail it all the time.
How you nail it, exactly. Walking embodiment.
Performance.
That's
so
it.
I want to just big your energy up there one last time for this our final guest, Bav.
Right, let's get up this guest. I've been looking forward to it. Let's not call it roasting. Let's call it interviewing him. Right. For years, this has been coming. We've got a great speaker on today.
That's why you agreed to be a co-host with me.
It's the only reason. It's the only reason I'm done after this one. I'm done.
We are joined by the incredible, I mean, he's a friend to both of us, and he really is an unbelievable mentor to some very, very well-known people in the dental industry, or has been in the past, the incredible Sumair Khan. And you can take over now, Bav.
Sumair. What can I say about Sumair? So he's a general dental practitioner, first and foremost. His practice is now limited to oral surgery, advanced restorative care, and implant dentistry. He's a TPD, which is TrainingProgramme Director for Oxfordshire and also the Smile Academy. He's a partner in 3 practices. He's a GDC expert witness.
Wait. He was an executive partner, I think, when he told me.
Sorry.
As in the oldest.
Let me get that right.
Okay, executive senior partner.
What that means? Executive partner just means you're the oldest one.
The senior partner. GDC expert witness, and an honorary lecturer for the Royal College of England.
Yeah.
And Sumair, anything I've missed out, mate?
Yeah, and I'm a husband. I'm a father, got 3 kids, and Arsenal season ticket holder.
Oh, okay. We'll definitely have to edit that bit out.
Yeah. He's the biggest goon I know, literally. Literally. Welcome, Sumair. We're so happy to have you on.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much for having me. It is a privilege to be here with you.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you. So our first question to you is, what is your favorite quote and why?
Okay, so I did think about this. I think the one I quote to other people most is probably when Steve Jobs says, to do great work, you have to love what you do. But
to do great work, you have to love what you do.
Yeah, but that's actually only the end of the sentence. There's a first part of that sentence, which is basically that work will fill a massive part of your life. And true satisfaction comes from doing what you believe is great work. And to do great work, you have to love what you do. But I feel like he's like, when I've read more, and I've been to lots of talks and stuff about where Raj Ratan is a great fan of the Stoics, the Greek philosophers, and he put a quote up by Epictetus, who basically said that the quality of your work is reflected in the quality of your character. And so basically, if you pursue excellence in everything that you do, then success will naturally follow. Well, I think like 500 years before him, I think Confucius said it more simply. He goes, choose a job that you love and you will never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
love that one.
yeah, and I feel like I've been blessed, and I feel privileged that I do get up every day. I do go to work, where I'm doing the dentistry or teaching the dentistry. I do love what I do, and I do what I love.
Well, I think there was quite a few quotes there.
Well, I mean, the Steve Jobs one is the one that I can.
Is the one, yeah? Go on, say that again. Say that slowly for everyone.
So to do great work, you have to love what you do.
Yeah, I think that sums it up nicely, doesn't it?
And he said he does love what he does. So why do you love what you do? Have you always loved what you do?
No. So I've worked in some environments that were not great. But I didn't realize until I saw how they were affecting me, like physically, mentally. And sometimes you just put up with things, or you just go with the flow. But I think when you take control and really become emotionally intelligent about yourself and self-aware, and aware of what's going on socially around you as well, and you can pick up toxic environments and like narcissists, and you can just cut them out of your life and just move on to better and bigger things. And I've done that slowly, but it's taken a long time, but I have done that, and I feel really like I'm surrounded by people that I love all the time. I love watching them grow and develop, and I love, I mean, being there for them and being able to lead them and guide them and mentor them. So mentoring and coaching is hand in hand with what I do as a clinician. I've always felt like I want to teach what I'm learning as well.
So backtrack a little bit. You've given us so much there that
so much to unpack there. So
our listeners are going to be like really curious. Yeah. So the first thing is like, oh, well, you know, I've been in environments that aren't great. What does not great mean?
So there's a lot of politics in places like hospitals, deaneries, and some practices where the money is focused, or it's like corporate environment type thing, and they're not conducive to, like, there's always like pressure, and they're not conducive to like just developing that love for what you do and doing what you love. It kind of fizzles out a bit when the politics kicks in, and when the environment becomes toxic.
So you also said that happened slowly, so you also didn't even necessarily notice it, and you would have a wake-up call, and then you'd realize, and then you just get rid of it. So there are aspects there. A is, how do you just get rid of it? Because that may be easier said than done. But at what point, like, what happens for you to
so sometimes you can quit and just say, look, I'm out, I'm finishing, I'm leaving this job type of thing. And that's easier in a hospital environment. You hand your notice in, the consultants moan a little bit, but you can just say, look, this isn't for me anymore, I need to move on to another job. You make your excuses and you go, and they'll get another SHO, another staff grade to cover in anyway. They won't even I mean, some of them were so old and racist. They were calling the next Asian guy the same as me. They didn't realize that we had changed. It was the same name, so it's calling him the same name. But I mean, like the deanery environment where
I think we should just add here that some qualified in same year as me, right?
97. Yeah, I was 1997.
Yeah. So he's talking a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, that the consultants could say things to you then that
oh my goodness, yeah, I still remember now.
Now you'd be shocked at what the kind of things, the bullying culture that happened. But some of that bullying culture has gone into some deanery offices as well, and specialist training pathways, still affected by the older consultants, not as much now, thankfully. And the generations are changing as well, because like with Bavin's generation, I could teach them, the millennials, I could use a Gordon Ramsay style of teaching and call him an idiot sandwich type of thing. Like,
Khan's kitchen we called it.
It was Khan's kitchen on Thursday of March. But now it's much more emotionally intelligent, the way we teach, the personalities. You recognize your own, and you recognize the way that people want to learn as well, and we just adapt to that. So it's much nicer environment.
How would you say people want to learn nowadays?
I think people are different. Some people are like, you've done all the NLP stuff, so some people are learn with their hands and their kinesthetic. People are audio visual, that type of thing. A lot of people like to read before they try anything, and then you've got the red personality stuff like me that will dive in and get things wrong and learn from the hard way.
Bavin isn't a red personality type.
I know, but at work he can be when he's around me. It rubs off.
It's the influence. Disclaimer here: Sumair was my mentor, he's my coach, and yeah, I've learned a lot from Sumair. And I know I give him a hard time, but he's one of the people I respect and look up to in dentistry. And he's developed that culture. And there's so many of us out there that owe a lot to Sumair.
Thank you.
Yeah, you share your wisdom and your heart, and it's like you take people under your wing, and they're almost like your children. I've seen them around you. Some, like I said, some very well known dentists nowadays who have gone on to experience and enjoy immense success, but they never forget you, and they always give you credit. And when I see you with them, it's like they are literally like your kids.
It's like I was saying, some of those toxic environments are where the leaders are trying to create followers, and you recognize the narcissists and things like that, and you just realize that that's not what leadership is about. I did a postgraduate certificate in leadership coaching and management with the Chartered Management Institute, and they were talking about all different types of leadership, and there was an aha moment when you realize that leadership isn't about creating followers, it's about creating leaders, future leaders. And that's where I've taken my leadership style from, and my mentoring and coaching style from. I can recognize the leadership qualities, or I make people recognize the leadership qualities in themselves. I mean, Bav is our training support tutor on the Smile DentalAcademy implant diploma. So the trainees go to him. He's their first port of call. Whereas he was a mentee of mine, like 7-8 years ago, I was mentoring him myself in implant dentistry.
That's goes to show what you mean, though. Leaders create other leaders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, on this topic of leadership and the idea of self-leadership, right? It's not about bossing anybody about. It's about understanding the unique qualities that each person has. So you obviously need to understand yourself first in order to lead others, and to be able to have a strong intuition and recognition and understanding of people, to be able to put people in the right positions and bring about the best possible outcome from each of them, right? Because so often actually people are placed in the wrong positions, and that's why they don't do well, that's why they don't thrive. It's not necessarily about them, it becomes the environment, or you're asking them to do the wrong things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, emotional intelligence is one of the most important qualities I think a leader needs. Self-awareness, and then social awareness as well, and all the little bits and pieces that come with that. But once you can recognize within a cohort of, say, trainees, whether they're foundation dentists or implant diploma trainees, you look at the different personalities, you start talking to them differently. You recognize when people are getting left out or isolated, and you make sure you bring them into the group and just work with the group so that they become a team as well. And that's what I mean. They will recognize the leadership qualities in themselves once you give them the opportunities, but exactly like you said, the right opportunities in the right environments.
I mean, you've done that from early on, right? Because you took a chance on people that didn't pass their BDS.
Yeah,
so I remember you.
That's right.
You used to do the scheme that started in February, right? So these were notoriously people that.
Yeah, there were two mid-year schemes.
Yeah.
There were three actually. One in Scotland, one in Birmingham, one in London. So yeah, I used to run the mid-year scheme for the people who didn't pass on time. The specials, the ones that got left behind. And whenever we had massive meetings of educational supervisors, they used to look at me and my supervisors like we were like the elite squad that could train the untrainable. But they didn't realize that by the time those trainees had come to us, they had already had a massive lesson in resilience because they hadn't passed on time. They were already, and they had overcome that and got back into their job and they were actually easier to teach than the trainees that had passed on time and everything had gone golden for them from the start.
Right.
As they've already had a failure in their lives and they were already had a huge lesson in resilience. So when little things went wrong in the practice, in their clinical practice, they were able to manage that easily. I could talk them through that much more easily.
So this is one of the things we teach when we try to teach people resilience, is actually is look back, like think of another time when you might have faced a particular challenge, and then what was it about you? We don't say what was it about that circumstance, because it might not be the same circumstance, but what quality was it that you had, or value that you had at that point, that you could use now? So exactly like you say, if someone goes through failure, it doesn't mean that they are a failure. I think that's one of the biggest things, right? So that it doesn't actually.
Well, yeah, the most important thing is you never lose, you learn. So
Exactly.
what I tell all of these is that the difference between a novice and an expert is the expert has tried and failed more times than you've even tried. And if anyone's standing up here telling you they've never failed, then either they haven't done enough dentistry or they're lying.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's classic life of an entrepreneur, right? You get knocked down, you try again. You get knocked down, you try again. You keep trying. You are willing to experiment. You're willing to be spontaneous. You're willing to be creative, and you're willing to fail. Because, I mean, I always say, like, one of my regular lines that I use is, I never have a regret. Everything is a learning opportunity.
Absolutely. Agree completely. I mean, the problem is getting people outside their comfort zone sometimes. And they don't realize that it's just on that edge. Every day I'll do something that's slightly outside my comfort zone, even now, because that's how you grow. The growth happens right and on that border between the comfort zone and
Yeah, absolutely. So have you heard of the law of diminishing returns?
yes, of course, yeah.
So the idea that, you could do exactly the same thing day in, day out, but because we expand in the same way as we expand within the universe, just doing the same thing is not going to yield the same results. That you have to grow if you want your results to expand, rather than actually get less and less.
Can't do the same thing over and over and expect things to change. I think that's what's his name? Einstein said that, isn't it? Doing the same thing as over and over and over and expecting something to change without.
Well, it's a classic. It's a classic when people aren't succeeding, or when something isn't working, and you sort of say, like, whatever you're doing at the moment isn't working. So why you can repeatedly trying to do the same thing or more of it? Because not really working out for you very well at the moment, is it? Anyway, and then it becomes willing to, to, like exactly as you say, to step out of your comfort zone. So you have we call it sometimes. I have this lovely analogy about the changing rooms. So you go, like, you want to try on an outfit, right? You want to transform it.
Sumair tries on lots of outfits.
There you go. You're gonna glam up.
You don't hang around changing rooms.
Add the outfit to go with the hair, right? But it's like, where are you going to go? So firstly, sometimes you go window shopping, right? You go window shopping, you have a look at a few things, you pick a few things from the hanger and think, okay, what am I going to do with this? And then there's a queue for the changing room. So you're sitting there effectively in the waiting room. Think of it like you're sitting in the right. So a lot of that's where most people are, in the waiting room. Sometimes shopping around, sometimes circling, looking at the window, thinking how great that would be if it was mine, or how nice that looks, but never either believing that they can have it, or looking at it from a sense of lack from themselves.
I like that analogy. It's good.
And it's only when you actually, like, draw the curtains and try the outfit on. If it doesn't fit, try another outfit on. And if it doesn't fit, try another one on, and parade around the mirror and look at all the angles until you think, yeah, actually this sits. And actually, it might not be completely comfortable. Might need to just lose a few pounds, but that's okay. A little bit of changing till you get back to comfort.
And don't be afraid to get it wrong. What you're saying is, don't be afraid to get it wrong. Try out. Absolutely.
But you've got to be willing to step into the changing room.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, great analogy.
Thanks.
Come on, Sumair, tell us some more, what other hats, about your other hats. What else do you do? And you've got a portfolo career, right, which a lot of people that are listening.
Educational supervisor after I was so foundation training, then SHO or DCT post in MACSAC for 3 years up to staff grade. And then when I went into practice, I started teaching 1 day a week at Barts. That's where I met Bav. I was doing that for 7 years, and then did an MSc in implant dentistry. It was a choice between MACSAC or implant dentistry. So, and I chose the implant dentistry because my wife wanted me to stay into practice, and she wanted to buy a practice. So I said, fine. And then I did that in 2005. So I've been restoring implants for 20 years. But it wasn't until I went back and did the restorative diploma at the Eastman in about 2012, and finished it in 2015. 2014. So it's just over 10 years now that I've really known what I'm doing and felt comfortable in my skin as an implant dentist and taken my restorative dentistry to that level. And then it was 2014 where we become associate deans in London, and the environment was getting a bit toxic there when London and KSS merged together. And it was from that I ended up leaving and going to Oxford. And Oxford, the TPD role has been brilliant because the environment there is so much more into coaching, mentoring. Those are guys that put me on the leadership coaching mentoring course as well. And it's always so much more supportive of each other as well as the trainees, always thinking about the trainees. That's really, that job, those guys in that deanery really do the job right. And it's all about the trainees. It's not about one-upmanship or just, they're not in it for themselves. They're not inward facing, they're quite outward facing. I love that environment, and I've been doing that since 2018. I joined them. So yeah, I love that job, the TPD job. And then it was during COVID that Jin and Kish, the guys who own the Smile Clinic Group and Smile DentalAcademy, had been running their restorative diploma, and they asked me to write their implant diploma. So I wrote the program that got approved by Eduqual as a bona fide diploma that people could take on to do an MSc if they wanted to. And I started a TPD role for them. I mean, that one's really taken off because we see 2 cohorts a year, one in March, one in September. And like the last one, when I designed it, it was like for 12 people per cohort, like a DFT scheme. And the latest cohort had 16 on it already, so they're always oversubscribed. I do like going abroad, taking the trainees abroad as well. They get a different kind of experience working in Cairo or in Lahore in Pakistan. We can give them a different experience, and it's they're out of their comfort zone properly, but they're in a safe environment where I mean, medical, legally, and politically, it's safe for them to make mistakes if they need to. Slightly safer than it is here. The GDC work that I've done, I was recruited along with about 20 other general practitioners who do implant dentistry to work as an associate for the fitness to practice lawyers. So they'll send us case reports for us to write a case report for a fitness practice case. And you see, I asked Roger, and I said to him, look, I don't really want to work for the baddies. Have you got any jobs going? Can I do this? If they've trained me as a legal advisor, can I do this job at Medical Protection? He goes, you know what? He goes, the more good guys we have working on that side, the less work we will have. That's absolutely right. I mean, out of the cases, I very rarely see something that I think is well below standards, where the guy should have like will need not to be struck off, but like to have like restrictions put on their practice. It's very rare. It's very rare. What's very sad is the blue on blue stuff, where you see dentists shopping each other to the GDC. That I find that very, very unnecessary. I think you just needed to make a phone call, and that would never have happened. But the GDC stuff has opened my eyes to what's going on out there as well, and also made me a bit reassured about what I'm teaching and what the level that I'm practicing at as well.
So how has it opened your eyes? Because this is a big fear, right? Especially for young dentists. And we do, well, I don't personally, but the majority of the professions at this point does practice fear-based dentistry. They're scared. They're scared.
Which is why we take them to do the
advanced. Try new things. They're worried that they're going to be complained about or complained straight to the GDC, and they're going to get that letter on their desk. So what advice would you give?
No, because we used to do quite a lot of medical legal talks in the foundation year, mainly because our budgets weren't great and they would do it for free. So we had DDU come in, Medical Protection come in, and now we have BDA and dental indemnity, BDA indemnity coming as well. But we had to cut that out because it was almost like the FDs, once they had a medical legal talk, they went back into their shells, like right to the center of their comfort zones, practicing like hygienists and therapists, not doing anything complex. And so we had to cut that out. We'll move it right to the end of the year. To lessen the fear. But the fact is that even if you make a clinical mistake, clinical mistakes don't usually end up with people being struck off. it's usually to do with the stuff that's well below or gets people struck off. It's completely like people doing something off the wall completely that isn't evidence-based, and they're just trying something out, or it's mainly, I think, due to mismanagement and miscommunication of the patient. Managing the communication between patients haven't understood what they were going to have, and they hadn't really been consented properly, and that's where the problems arise.
And it comes back to having that culture where they work, right, in their practices, and having that open culture, and having it's a team sport, dentistry. It's not, the patient doesn't generally complain about the dentist. They complain about lots of little factors that have led up to a complaint that has happened with the dentist.
I've done some doozies on patients, but people don't complain about against people who they like.
Exactly.
And so if I'm doing my best for that patient and I've said I will fix it, they trust me to fix it as well. And
that's it.
I will solve the problem as well. So rather than run down the road to a lawyer or go to another dentist and say, right, I want to sue this guy.
And that's it. I think most people are reasonable and they understand that. And like I say, if they like you,
on their side, if they think you're on their side, it's always going to be you and the patient versus their problem. It shouldn't be you versus the patient.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. So what's the most common complaint that you find?
It's consent, that they didn't know they were having
consent.
Yeah, so they wouldn't have known something about sedation. They didn't know they were going to be sedated, or they didn't know they're going to be out, or they were. One of them was like she had an all-on-6 done by a very eminent surgeon, and it was a beautiful case. The X-ray was insane. If I could do one case like that, I'd be happy in my career. And she goes, "Yeah, why have I got 6 implants? Everything on the literature says all-on-4."
Okay.
And the bridge, everything was perfect, but because she didn't realize that all on X is what we now call it, but the concept is that the minimum you'll have is 4. If we can get 5 or 6 implants in, that's better for you. And they're not charging her any more. It was fixed price, whether she had 4 or 6. So it's just little things like that. Miscommunication, patients misunderstanding.
You think of something like that, exactly. I mean, that's just going to scare people, because you're going to think, oh, for heaven's sake, you actually did good for the patient. So why could that not be communicated?
But that would be dismissed. The whole point is
it's like why does it have to even go to the GDC? Why can't patients just what happens?
The only one I will say, the first one I said was probably below standard, was a guy who was practicing outside his skill set. So he had done an all-on-4 as well. All the implants failed one at a time, and he didn't actually take a CBCT until he referred the patient on to have the treatment done again. So he had been working off an OPG, which is very, very old school. And maybe he knew that there were some old school people who could do that type of thing off just an OPG. And there are still people who can plan implants, zygomatic implants and things like that from OPGs. I couldn't. I don't train people to do that. We've got CBCT readily available, so we use that for implant planning now. But this guy had basically done it wrong. And so he needed further training. And that's why... and that's what I'd recommended as well. It's just, look, it's not that he should stop implants. He needs to do it supervised, and he needs further training.
So my big bugbear is, like, if you book a restaurant table, or you book to go to a hotel or whatever, you give your card details, right? And say it didn't work out, and you try to do a chargeback on your card, or like you're trying to get something back from PayPal. The first thing you have to do is prove that you have gone to the merchant to try to resolve it.
Yes.
Get them to do your refund or just fix it before they, as an establishment, will take it any further.
In fact, this guy, the guy that I told you was well below standard with the all-on-4, the patient had contacted him and just asked for his money back. And because he wasn't getting his money back, and he had paid a lot of money, he went to the GDC. He didn't actually complain to the GDC about the dentist. He just asked the GDC to get his money back for him.
Which, I mean, they wouldn't do anyway.
I mean, he didn't know that they're not involved.
But that's quite rare. So what often happens now is people just don't even... Because the way the whole litigation thing's working is actually, if you can get a GDC prosecution, then you're almost guaranteed to then get a civil case and your money.
I mean, now it's merciless. They wait for the GDC hearing so that they can increase what they're going to get at the civil hearing.
So this is the whole thing about, like, when everybody knows that I've been working a lot on well-being and working with the OCDO and all this other stuff, they keep saying, say they think I've got the ear of the GDC. I'm like, yeah, right. I wish, you know, I've heard this.
No one has the ear of a GDC. They're a law unto themselves. But I mean, the way you protect yourself is your clinical records, and basically, the clinical record should show evidence of co-treatment planning, co-diagnosis, co-treatment planning, and shared decision making. And if you can show that you've respected the patient's wishes, you've educated them, you've given them, and you've all the options, appropriate options, and they've chosen from those options, you've consented them properly, then really there's nothing to worry about. You're doing what you and the patient have agreed that the patient should have. So as long as you're working with the patient throughout the process, and it doesn't want, the moment it becomes confrontational or they lose trust, that's when to cut it off and just say, look, I don't think this is going to work. But those who like persist or get pressured to continue with the patient, that's where things are going to, the patient is going to go when it doesn't work. And it's never going to work 100% all the time.
Yeah,
you're getting it right first time. That this thing that some deaneries are trying to push, it's just an impossible thing. You can hope for it, but getting it right first time, every time, it's never going to happen.
And you know, you're dealing with the human body. Ultimately, you can't give someone like a 100% guarantee.
Absolutely, it's not realistic.
Humans. We haven't got robots working on patients just yet, but it's coming.
One of the most important things that I learned was actually from Raj Ratan as well, is under promise, over deliver every time, you know, and that's my mantra with patients. And you know, some of my colleagues, when they hear me, they were like, wow, you just like literally told them everything and it's good. And I was like, no, but the thing is, if it happens, then you've told them, and if it doesn't, you're a legend. So it's a win-win. You know,
you've managed their expectations.
That's it.
When you exceed their expectations, they're not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's certainly my philosophy when it comes to peri-implantitis treatment. Yeah. But anyway, let's not even get onto the clinical. So, Sumair, you're obviously on this Nail It podcast, and thank you. You've touched on a lot of stuff, right? You've talked about resilience. You've talked about like one of the people's biggest fears in dentistry. You've given people some clinical tips. You've talked about your own expertise. I do have like a major question to ask you in a minute, but I again just take you back to the beginning, because your quote was all about doing what you love. And you do a hell of a lot of different things. You do clinical work, you do a lot of teaching, you do a lot of training, you do a lot of mentoring, you do a lot of leadership. So they're all kind of interlinked. How did you get to a point of understanding what the key is to loving what you do?
I think when I had a complaint against me in 2016 by a colleague who it was proven by I went through a disciplinary and stuff like that, and I had to do a lot of soul searching, and they put on some coaching for me as well as part of the rehabilitation, if you like. And that's when I developed the interest in emotional intelligence. That's what I was told, to develop an interest in emotional intelligence, self-awareness, communication through empathy and things like that. It wasn't like it was new. It was like that, changing from the Gordon Ramsay style to the tree hugging, like socks and sandals style. But clearly in the middle there is a sweet spot. And that's
nailing it, actually, but yeah.
Nailing it, exactly.
That's where I hit that sweet spot in the middle. That's when I realized that this is what people need, in terms of a leader, in terms of a coach, in terms of a mentor. They don't need someone coming down like a ton of bricks, and they don't need someone singing Kumbaya all day. They need something right in the middle. And
that balance.
I found that spot, that balance. You're absolutely right. It was a balance. And that's once I got balanced, and I realized I needed to get out of the environment that I was in, the toxic environment, so I could use that balance. And that's where, so it's about 2018 where I realized I took a step down from associate dean to TPD so that I could hit that balance and maintain it there, and do the same type of thing within the NHS, outside the NHS, and then within implant dentistry. And so, because when you're teaching and coaching, mentoring, you need to be on the top of your game. So, I mean, I've been doing implant dentistry for 20 years, and yet I go to all the conferences, I go abroad to learn new techniques, soft tissue grafting, hard tissue grafting, trying to keep up to date, trying to keep myself upskilled as well, so that I can share those skills with others as well. So you never know it all. It's that continuous growth and development myself, and people see that ethos in me as well. So I'll take my trainees on the same course as me. So I'm supposed to be teaching them, but I'll bring them along. So look, I need to learn this. You need to learn this. Come with me, and they will just come along and we'll learn together. I have no like airs or graces about myself as a clinician. I'm quite happy to be a learner as well as a teacher.
I love that. So thank you for sharing that then, and that vulnerability, which of course is another part of leadership as well, right? Yes, authenticity and vulnerability. So, as we said, you were clearly nailing it, because everything you just covered, all of the emotional intelligence and all of that stuff are all the things that we teach as part of the Nail It system and the communication and all the rest of it. So, I mean, you've been to one of my Nail It experiences, or many boot camps, I should say. So you definitely got a
that awareness was increased. It was like exponential at that boot camp as well, because I was developing that awareness, but that kind of honed it and really, really nailed it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, in that intense immersive environment, it's easy for me to kind of just get in there and dig deep and pluck it out of you. So the Nail It system.
Yeah.
It's actually 38 components, 6 main pillars, which spell
That's
out.
all I can't remember the 38. I know
the 38. I didn't give you the 38.
the attitude, the integrity.
You've mentioned a lot of them. We've talked about them: authenticity, communication, emotional intelligence, values, all that stuff. They're all in there. Self-awareness, massive part. But yes, you've got these overarching 6 pillars, which spell out, of course, the word nail it. So from your point of view, and Bav, we can have a bet on this, but I think I know what's going to be said. So
I don't know.
Yeah, we have like a regular.
It might surprise you.
Write it down now. Which
yeah, right there. Yeah. It's like Darren Brown stuff.
Avin, you write yours down. Which one?
Yeah, I've got mine down. Don't worry.
I've done it. Okay, so which of the 6 do you feel resonates with you, or is the most important as far as you're concerned?
Okay, so out of the needs, I think is authentic attitude, integrity, the limitless leadership thing, the intuition, and then the tangibility thing.
Yeah.
For me, the one that resonates with me and the one that I think I emulate the most is the integrity.
Ta-da!
If that could have been the other eye as well.
I said attitude. Yeah.
I think
you took it away in the clues. You heard the word self-awareness so many times. I knew it was
yeah. I think you've got him on one of his soft days. Sumair has different days. He's one of the.
I think what's made me so comfortable in my skin is that I can show up as my authentic self. Now, whether I'm at work, I'll say the same things and I'll do the same things. I'll do what I'm going to say and I'll say what I'm going to do. I can do it at work. I can do it when I'm teaching. I don't have to wear masks. And that is exhausting, pretending to be something that you're not. As a leader as well, when you're creating leaders, when you're coaching, mentoring, you have to be yourself. People can see instantly when you are, especially if your body language or facial expressions don't match what you're saying. That reptilian brain will automatically set off alerts in people's head. They'll say, you can't trust this guy. So for me, being trustworthy, being authentic, showing up as myself, having integrity, always doing what I say I'm going to do, be where I'm saying I'm going to be, it's a really, really important leadership qualities. It leads into all the other nail it things as well. I can do those because of the I.
Yeah, for me, it's so that makes up the system called the valuable being blueprint.
That's
so we have your values.
That's what we aim to be, right? That's what I'm aiming to be.
So it's your values.
You want to leave a legacy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so your values, your authenticity, your leadership, your understanding, your ambition, making sure it's healthy, your behavior, to being conscious of your behavior, your legacy, and your excitement, so your passion. And I think you've touched on almost every single one of those today. And just to say, the thing about authenticity is that people get a bit worried, saying, I'm not pretending to be someone else, or I'm not wearing a mask. But it's not about that. I mean, I wasn't my authentic self. I had the best smile ever. It's just the smile wasn't genuine, because inside I was having a living hell, right? So sometimes it becomes so automatic, it's so stuck to you, you don't realize it. And there's a fantastic exercise we take people through on the experience days that actually all these things you can teach. So you can, again, become the self-awareness about authenticity and teach people how to display their authenticity much more. And when you do, I really think it sets you free.
It does. It really does.
Beautiful. What a lovely note to end on. What is that now? Is that 7-1 now, Bav?
What's that? Wait, who's keeping count? Keeping count? I don't know.
I keep count. I'm competitive. Come on.
I keep count.
Oh man. I've
only just realised what they were stood for.
Oh, he says part of the Nail It team. My goodness. Sumair, thank you so much for your time. It's always I can't believe I actually get to have you for 45 minutes.
I know. As long as
such a privilege instead of just a hi, bye, how you doing, big hug, and off we go.
No, it's been a real privilege, guys. Honestly, it's been emotional. I'm really, really proud of both of you as well, and
thank you.
I hope this thing really goes off.
Yeah. Well, I'm absolutely sure it will. The world needs it, and dentistry definitely needs it.
Absolutely.
Definite. Thanks, Sumair.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care.
Stay safe.
Bye now.
So, Bav.
Wow.
Your mentor.
That was such an interesting conversation. It's such a nice, genuine conversation from a nice, genuine person. And as I say, I do give him a lot of stick, but Sumair has always sort of been there as a mentor, and it's great. It's nice to see that he's been on a journey himself, and he's actually an embodiment of Nail It. He might not know it, but he has been through that journey, and he's nailed it in the middle, and he's got that balance. And that's exactly what we're trying to do and trying to spread the word of, is that you can be an optimal performer, just like Sumair is now, but he's literally leading better, he's living fully, and he's definitely laughing more, especially when he watches Arsenal.
Oh, brilliant. No, you're so right. Yeah, exactly. And that he was willing to share his vulnerability and share that, it's not, you don't stand up and say, hey, this is me, I'm amazing, look at how well I've done, I'm brilliant. Actually, we only get there through those lessons.
Yeah.
Opportunities. We only get there through adversity and pushing through it, and then willing to share. So as he so beautifully said, being a leader is not about getting followers, it's about making more leaders.
Definitely, and he literally does do that, because there's so many examples, and he's a bit of a godfather in the dentistry world now.
He definitely is. So it was such a pleasure to have him. Anyway, we are done. So to another episode, to another week, Bav.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did, and hopefully see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Have a great week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Nail It podcast. We would love it if you would leave us a 5-star review. And if you'd like to feature as one of our guests, or you're ready to nail it, then check out our events, programs, and educational courses by visiting nailitindentistry.com.